say that a lot of runners will look at race results like yours and think you make them look easy.
Winning's never easy. The Easter Brothers are a trail marathon which runs along the coast and it finishes with a really steep, nasty hill. It's definitely one of the toughest trail marathons in Australia, especially the finish, and it could even be possibly the hardest marathon finish in the world. So it's exceptionally difficult. I have to compare it to what they call the hardest trail marathon in Australia being 6 foot track, and this is definitely harder. There's a lot of environmental factors that affect this race. You're very exposed, so wind in either direction can be very difficult. It's like just gone summer in Australia, so it's like we haven't had a chance to race in heat and humidity, which we got on the day. And we get heaps of bushfires in Australia. And so on the weekend of the race, there was like a lot of hazard reduction burning, and so it just made the whole area smell like it was on fire.
Let's go, enjoy the day. Good luck, everybody.
How do you approach a race like this where you're going in it to win, but you don't know who else is going to be there?
I was always just going to go hard, no matter who was there on the morning, and so be it. If I put a gap in, that's great. But no, it wouldn't have mattered to me who was there in that particular race. I was always just going to run my race the way I wanted to run it from the start.
Do you enjoy sand running?
Not when you're going that fast. So it's about 20 kilometres of the course, so almost half of the course is on sand. The hard sections were fine, the soft sections were torture. And it must be really hard for almost everyone. There was a couple of sections of really, really soft sand where even though I was running, it felt like I was walking, and that really takes it out of you for sure. You'd be running at a pace, but because the terrain was changing, like the sand would go from soft to firm to soft to firm, your heart rate was literally bumping up and then coming down, bumping up and coming down. So I think that's one of the things that makes this race so hard. Like these short, sharp efforts intertwined throughout the course really comes back to bite you later on. There was long sections of the race where you were completely isolated, running onto the beach knowing that, you know, you can't even see the end point of where you've got to take off, you know, not being able to see landmarks to aim for, and that feeling of being alone is real and makes it more difficult when you're racing, especially if things aren't going completely right. I wasn't having a great day. Like, for some reason, I did not feel great from about 15 kilometres onwards. But I remember one time when I saw you, I can't remember what you said, but I said I'm feeling pretty flat. Like, I was actually feeling really nauseous. And I was also thinking, like, if this gets much worse, like, I'm not gonna I was thinking, like, I might not finish this race. I didn't say that to anyone, and I knew that it was probably the best thing for me to have like such a hard race in this build, because like what it's done is remind me of how hard things can be. I didn't think about the climb until I got there. I literally was like, just go all out, and whatever I've got left, so be it. You know, I wasn't conserving energy for the hill. Like, it was only really when I was down the bottom that I was like, okay, well, these next few kilometres are going to be particularly testing, and because I don't feel great today, they're going to be harder than probably what I would have hoped that it was going to be like. I think about 500 metres from the finish, I got like cramp came on really bad, and like it literally stopped me dead in my tracks. I was like, oh my God, this is really bad. I think I'm going to have to fall onto the ground to just try and stretch it out, because it was like locked. It was in a locked position in my hamstring. But at that point I was like, if we don't stop this cramp, I'm not even getting to the finish line, which is pretty sad after you've come like 41 kilometres. But I just like did what I've done before and got the cramp fix in. Even though it tastes horrible, it works. And the next couple of minutes were still like walk, run, walk, run. So I think it's like huge relief when you start hearing voices and you're like, oh my God, like you know, within a couple of minutes I'm going to be crossing that finish line. There's very few races that go well for anyone. So no matter where you finish in terms of finish time or position, these races are really hard for everyone, and us documenting these types of races is because we want to show people it is really hard. And even for me, I came first and, you know, won by over 10 minutes or whatever, but there's some really dark times and testing periods that I had to go through, just like everyone else would have had to go through on a day. And we just want to show you that, you know, it's normal. You can get through it. And, you know, seeing people finish and come across the finish line when I was up there at the end, you could definitely see when you've really had to dig deep and you've suffered, it makes it very much more meaningful and special. So for me, the best thing about the Beach to Brother was not the win, but it was the reminder of how hard things can be. It's like a motivator to use in the next couple of months as I lead up to my next big race, for sure.